The house that broke my family? Was I wrong to call the cops? Hey everyone, Reddit. I'm Kate, 27, and it feels like my whole life I've been in the shadow of my older sister, Anna, who's 30. She was always the favorite, smart, social, charming. Her way out of anything. Me, I was the irresponsible one, which really meant I did all the work and got no credit. Growing up, Anna got everything. Her birthdays were huge garden parties with bounce castles and ponies. Mine, a pizza party with a grocery store cake. Anna got the Barbie dream house. I got a knockoff with a broken elevator. My parents would just say, "You don't need all that fancy stuff," or "Be grateful for what you have." But Anna never had to be grateful in the same way. The big shift happened. When I went to college, I'd worked hard in high school, juggling AP classes and extracurriculars to get good grades. I got into a local university and thought I had a solid plan. Commute from home to save on dorm fees. Anna went to her dream school, fully funded by her parents, so I figured they'd help me too. I was wrong. When I told my mom I'd live at home, she looked at me like I'd suggested moving to Mars. "If you're staying here, you'll need to contribute," she casually added. Anna got a full ride from us because she deserved it. You need to learn responsibility. I was 18, about to start college, and they were talking about me paying rent. Contribute turned out to be $400 a month for rent and electricity, plus my own groceries. That might not sound like much, but try being a broke college student working part-time at a bookstore for $9 an hour, I tried to explain, reminding them they'd covered everything for Anna, that she'd never worried about money. Mom just shrugged. "We gave Anna what she needed," she said. "You're different, you're independent, you'll figure it out." So I did. I worked as many hours as I could at the bookstore, sometimes skipping meals to make ends meet. Every morning, I'd pass the campus coffee shop, jealous of students buying lattes and pastries while I ate PB&J sandwiches and drank free coffee from the break room. I never bought a textbook new. Everything was used or from the library. Every month, I handed over $400 to my parents while Anna was at her out-of-state school, living in a brand new dorm my parents bought for her. She called me once to complain her dorm's AC wasn't cold enough. I almost lost it. My car didn't even have a C because I couldn't afford to fix it. My parents kept sending Anna money. I once overheard Mom on the phone saying, "We don't want her. To struggle, college is hard enough." I stood in the kitchen, clutching my dollar ramen, wondering why I never got that kind of compassion. To make matters worse, my parents constantly praised Anna for her accomplishments. She got a 3.2 GPA in communications, and they threw her a lavish graduation party with a catered buffet and a DJ. When I graduated with a 3.9 in computer science, we had a quiet meal at home. Mom made lasagna and said, "Well, we don't want to make a fuss." Looking back, what stung most wasn't the lack of financial help, but the clear message that I didn't count as much. Anna was always the star, the one with potential, while I was just there. Even when I succeeded, it was brushed off. "Kate's smart. She doesn't need help," they'd say. Being capable felt like a curse. After college, I moved out as fast as I could. I rented a small apartment near my first job and started living life on my own terms. It wasn't easy, but it felt amazing to be free of their expectations. I worked hard, lived frugally, and started saving. Meanwhile, Anna married Josh, 32, whom my parents adore, even though he's constantly changing jobs. They have 3 kids. Now, Sophia, 5, Lucas, 4, and baby Noah, 2. My folks are always bailing them out. When their car broke down last year, my parents gave them money for a new one. When Anna complained about how hard it was with 3 kids, Mom and Dad offered to babysit on weekends. I wish it didn't bother me anymore, but it still does. No matter how much I achieve on my own, it feels like I'll always be second to Anna. That's why I don't share many details about my life with my family anymore. I know they wouldn't care. Not really. So I've been keeping this quiet, but I recently decided it was time to start looking for a house. I'd been renting this tiny apartment for years, paying too much for what was basically a shoebox, and I'd been saving forever. I finally reached a point where I thought, you know what? I deserve this. Here's the thing. I didn't tell my family, not because it's a big secret, but because nothing with them can ever be just about me. Everything becomes a group project. If I mentioned anything, I knew they'd start making it about Anna and her kids and how whatever I earned could help them. So I decided it was easier to keep quiet until everything was done. Apparently, that was too hopeful. I'm not sure how this happened, but a woman I work with, Lisa, managed to let it slip. Lisa is one of those people who's always interested in what others are doing. I guess she casually mentioned to someone that I was looking for a house. That person happened to be Anna's neighbor. From there, the news spread like wildfire, the joys of small-town Texas. A few days later, my mother called me. "Kate," she said, her tone overly joyful, "why didn't you tell us you're looking for a house?" I should have known better, but I played dumb. "Oh, I'm just browse right now, nothing serious." "Well, Anna and I have been talking, and we have some great ideas for you." I felt dread creeping in. Going to need something big enough for everyone, you know. At least for bedrooms for the kids, of course. "What kids?" I asked. "Don't have kids." She kept going as if this were the most normal thing in the world. "You'll need space for Anna's family when they visit, and for us too. Oh, and it'd be great if it was close to Anna's place." I'm not sure why I was surprised. She had already turned my potential house into the solution to their problems. I said something non-committal and hung up as fast as I could, thinking it was a one-time thing. But oh dear, it wasn't. My mom and Anna started flooding me with house listings after that. I'm not exaggerating when I say it became a part-time job for them. Every day, I'd get at least a dozen links to ridiculous houses, huge homes with 4 or 5 bedrooms, pools, 3-car garages, the works. It was as if they thought I was looking for a reality TV mansion. One day Mom texted, "Did you see that? One on Maple Street? It's a huge one, just perfect." Another time, Anna emailed me a link to a 6-bedroom property with a remark that read, "This would be so suitable for us. We'd finally have space to spread out." I stared at the message for a good minute, wondering how my house purchase had become a group project. What's the worst part? They weren't even pretending it was about me. Every place they suggested was geared towards Anna's family. This one has a finished basement. Josh could turn it into his man cave. The kids would love the pool in this one. Look, Kate, there's even a guest room for Mom and Dad when they visit. It was exhausting. At first, I tried to gently redirect them, assuring them I was just looking for something modest for myself, but that just made things worse. That's when I decided to stop responding. I silenced the group chat and ignored their messages. Figured they'd eventually get the point and move on. Meanwhile, I continued searching for houses on my own. I spent my evenings scrolling Zillow and my weekends looking at open houses. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, and I avoided anything slightly related to Anna's area. I didn't want to run into anyone who might tell my mother. After weeks of looking, I finally found it. A little 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. It had everything I wanted: a nice small porch, a sunny kitchen, and a yard big enough for a garden. It wasn't fancy, but it felt like home the moment I stepped through the door. I knew it was mine. I submitted an offer, and after a few nerve-wracking days it was approved. I can't even explain how fantastic it felt. For the first time in my life, I was doing something solely for myself. With no influence from anyone, of course. I didn't tell my family. I decided to let them keep sending their helpful suggestions while I silently moved forward. But then my mother called me out of nowhere. "We're having dinner next weekend. You're coming, right?" I almost said no, but then I had a thought. You know what? Let's get this over with. So I'm going to this dinner, and I already know what it'll be like. I'll probably have a full PowerPoint presentation prepared. Here comes the fun part. I'm about to reveal that I've already bought a home. I won't sugarcoat it either. I can already hear the theatrical gasps and complaints. Thank you for sticking around. I'll send you an update after dinner. Update 1 first and foremost. I'd like to thank everyone who left comments and advice on my previous post. I promised to update you after dinner, so here we go. Buckle up, because there was a lot, so. Arrived at my folks' place last Saturday at precisely 6 p.m., mentally prepared for whatever nonsense they were about to throw at me. The moment I walked in, there was already commotion. Kids were shouting. Josh was on the couch watching TV, and my mother was busy in the kitchen. She looked over and said, "Oh, good, you're on time for once. We're off to a good start, right?" We sat down for supper, and the conversation started. With the usual small talk, Dad complained about gas prices, Josh about something at work, and Anna about how hard it was to manage 3 children. Noah keeps waking up in the middle of the night, she explained, scooping mashed potatoes onto her plate. We're just so cramped. I feel like I'm losing my mind. I knew where this was going, but I played along, nodding sympathetically while focusing on my lasagna. Then my mother cleared her throat in the way she does before making an announcement. "Kate," she said with a huge smile, "we've been talking, and we think we've found the perfect house for you." I almost choked on my water. Of course they came with a plan. "Oh?" I asked, keeping my tone as neutral as possible. "Yes," Anna chimed in. "It's a beautiful place, and it's only a few blocks from us. It has 5 bedrooms, a huge yard for the kids, and even a guest suite." Mom interrupted before I could respond. "It's perfect for everyone. There's enough space for the kids to finally have their own rooms, and Josh could even set up an office. Plus, it's in such a great neighborhood, close to good schools." I just stared at them, bewildered. They weren't even pretending it was about me anymore. So Anna replied, smiling as if everything was settled, "We can go see it tomorrow if you want." That's when I decided I'd had it. "Actually," I responded, setting down my fork, "I've already bought a house." The room went completely silent. Even the children stopped making noise. "What?" Mom asked, her voice harsh. I reiterated, "It's a small 2-bedroom cottage just outside the city. It's perfect for me." For a little moment, I wondered if they would be happy for me. Mom's face turned red, and Anna's mouth practically dropped to the floor. "A cottage?" Anna finally asked, her tone full of skepticism. "How are we supposed to fit in a cottage?" "You're not," I informed her, "because it's my house. I bought it for me." Mom stepped in before Anna could react. "Kate, how could you make such a big decision without consulting us? We've been working so hard to find the perfect place for you." "No," I replied, trying to keep my cool. "We've been working hard to find the perfect place for Anna and her family. I didn't need your help. I knew what I wanted, and I bought it." Voice became quite high-pitched, as if she were about to cry. "But we need this, Kate. You know how hard it is for us in that tiny apartment? The kids have to share a room, and Noah's crib is in our bedroom. It's not fair to them." I took a deep breath, hoping not to lose it. "That's not my problem. Anna, I've worked hard to get to this point, and I'm not giving up my dream house to fix your situation." That's when Dad decided to join in. He slammed his hand on the table. "You're being selfish, Kate. Family is supposed to help each other. What's wrong with you?" I stood up, my heart racing. "I'm not selfish. I'm finally standing up for myself. And if that makes me the bad guy in your eyes, so be it." The place erupted into turmoil. Anna was crying. Mom was ranting about how she'd raised me better. Dad was complaining about how disappointed he was. Josh sat there stuffing food into his mouth as if nothing was happening. I grabbed my handbag and went to the door. Mom pursued. Me, crying, "You can't just walk away from your family like this." I turned back and screamed, "Watch me." I then got into my car and drove home, trembling with rage and relief. Things have gotten out of hand in unexpected ways. My mother and Anna have both gone on full social media attack mode. Anna shared images of her children packed close on their bunk bed with remarks like, "All they want is a little space to grow." I guess some people think family isn't worth helping anymore. People who didn't know the full story left comments such as, "How could anyone be so heartless?" To make matters worse, someone, probably Lisa, saw these posts. And now half of my office is talking about how I abandoned my family. I'm trying to stay positive and focus on my work, but it's becoming increasingly difficult. I'm bracing myself for whatever comes next, but I'm confident I made the right decision. This house is mine, and I will not back down. I'll provide an update if something significant occurs. Thank you so much for all of your help. You have no idea how much it has meant. Update 2 have been going over your comments, and wow, you guys didn't hold back. Many of you expressed surprise at how entitled my family sounds, and believe me, I share your sentiments. Others shared their experiences with similar situations, and it's reassuring to know I'm not alone in this. So things have taken an unexpected turn. My mother unexpectedly visited my apartment yesterday. She was standing there with an apple pie. Not my favorite, I prefer cherry, and the fakest smile I'd ever seen. "Hi, Kate," she said, as if she hadn't been part of the social media mob attacking me for weeks. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She placed the pie on the counter and gazed around my home as if she were taking inventory. "I wanted to apologize," she began, her voice full of fake sweetness. "Things got a little heated, and I realize now that we were wrong to push you like that. You've worked hard for this house, and I should have respected your decisions." Something about her tone didn't sit well with me. Then she launched into a lengthy speech about how pleased she was of me, and how the stress of Anna's situation had caused everyone to behave badly. "But that's no excuse," she added, giving me a sad, almost imploring expression. "I was thinking maybe we could have a fresh start. I'd love to come over again sometime. Maybe bring Anna and the kids. It'd be nice for everyone to see your new place." So there it was, the actual motive behind her visit. After she left, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Later that night, I realized what was bothering me. She'd spent an unusual amount of time inspecting my locks and asking about my moving timeline. My suspicions were confirmed when I returned home from work today and discovered my spare key missing, the one I had mistakenly left on the kitchen counter. During my mother's stay, my phone vibrated just as I was processing this. My next-door neighbor sent me a text. "Hey, I noticed some folks trying to peep into your windows last night. It looked like a couple with children. Is everything okay? Let's quickly call the locksmith to replace all of the locks. I'll also install security cameras first thing tomorrow morning." I can't believe they would go this low, but I'm also not surprised. I've stopped answering phone calls and texts from anyone in my family. Mom's apology was obviously just a reconnaissance operation, and I'm done giving them the benefit of the doubt. The disturbing issue is that I don't think they'll stop. Dad left a voicemail stating, "This isn't over, Kate. Family has to stick together, whether you like it or not." At this point, it seems like a threat rather than a concern. I'm currently documenting everything, every text, voicemail, and suspicious incident. My gut tells me I'll need this record shortly. I will keep you updated if anything else happens. Reddit, thank you for all of your support. It's incredibly helpful to have folks confirm that I'm not insane for demanding fundamental boundaries. Update 3. Hello, Reddit. I never imagined I'd be posting this update, but here we are. What happened today has left me absolutely disturbed, and I am still trying to digest everything. I went out this morning to do some errands, like grocery shopping and picking up a package from the post office. When I got home at noon, I saw something peculiar. Anna's SUV was parked directly in front of my house. My heart sank immediately. I approached the door, fumbling with my keys, and heard voices inside. Anna, Josh, and the kids were at my place. The atmosphere inside was complete mayhem. Sophia and Lucas were sprawled on my couch, surrounded by snacks and toys. Noah was toddling about my living room, munching on a throw pillow. Josh was in the kitchen, raiding my refrigerator, and Anna was in the sunroom rearranging my furniture, as if she were on HGTV. "What the hell's going on?" I managed to reply, my voice shaking from fury and disbelief. Anna looked up, unaffected. "Oh, hey, Kate. We figured it'd be easier to just move in while you were out." I glanced at her, trying to understand what she had just said. "Move in? Mom gave us the key," she explained, nodding to the kitchen counter. "We really needed the space, and your home is ideal for us. It could have been bigger if you'd listened to us, but we'll make it happen. Josh can now have an office." Instead of arguing, I took out my phone and dialed 911. "Seriously?" Anna replied, her voice full of incredulity. "Cops on your own family? Watch me." When the cops arrived, Anna and Josh attempted to argue that, because we were family, this wasn't a true break-in. The officers wouldn't have it. They informed them that they were trespassing and needed to leave. Immediately, Anna began crying, saying she didn't realize it was such a big deal. And Josh muttered something about my being selfish as they packed away their belongings, including the goodies they had plundered from my cupboard. After they left, one of the officers approached me and asked if I wanted to file charges. Considered it for a time before deciding against it, as long as they stayed away from my property. The officer nodded, saying they'd file a report if anything more happened. Already called a locksmith to change the locks again, and I'll have a security system put in tomorrow. I've also hired a lawyer to create an official cease and desist letter to deliver to my parents, Anna and Josh. The letter describes everything they've done and states that if they continue to harass me, will not hesitate to take legal action. Still can't believe my own sister felt this was appropriate and that my mother gave them the key. I don't even have words for it. I will keep you updated if anything else happens, but perhaps this is the final straw. I am done giving them opportunities. Blood is not always thicker than water, particularly when it is dangerous. Update Forried. I'd like to begin by thanking everyone who has followed this wild journey. After all of your comments and support, I believe I owe you a final report on the issue. Yes, I mean final. Because I have formally severed all relations with my family. First came the guilt-inducing phone calls. Every single relative, including those I hadn't spoken to in years, began calling me. My aunt, who hardly acknowledged my existence growing up, left a voicemail that read, "How can you do this to your sister? Family has to stick together." Then my parents launched a smear campaign in our town. Mom shared photos of my house on Facebook. I'm not sure how she obtained them, with sentiments like, "It's so sad when someone forgets where they came from. Family sacrifices so much for you, and this is how they repay you." People who didn't know the complete scenario left comments accusing me of being ungrateful and selfish. Last week, Anna took it to a new level. She arrived at my business at lunchtime. With all 3 children, I was in a meeting when our receptionist called to report that my sister was crying in the lobby and raising a disturbance. By the time I arrived, half of my coworkers had gathered to witness Anna theatrically tell how I was leaving her children homeless, pulled her aside and ordered her to leave. She responded by letting the kids run around the office while yelling about how I had plenty of space but was too selfish to share. Security had to take them out. I had to have an embarrassing chat with my manager about keeping my personal concerns out of the office. The final straw arrived yesterday. My parents scheduled an intervention at their home. They informed my grandmother that I was suffering a mental breakdown and required family support. When I declined to attend, they attempted to have a local preacher visit my house to educate me on my family commitments. After consulting with my attorney, took serious legal action. I applied for a restraining order against Anna and Josh, citing all of their harassment and the break-in. My lawyer also issued cease and desist letters to my parents regarding their social media posts and harassment. I've established a comprehensive security system that includes cameras and motion sensors, as well as changed my phone number and email address, which I exclusively share with trusted friends and my job. All of my social media accounts are now set to rigorous privacy settings, blocking not only my family, but also their friends and anyone who may feed them information. The most weird aspect of all of this is that they still appear to believe they are correct. My mother sent me one final email before I blocked her, stating I was hurting her heart and that she had raised me better than this. She still doesn't get that this isn't about being mean or selfish. It is about setting basic boundaries and respecting oneself. But you know what? For the first time in my life, I actually feel free. My house is just as I want it. I've started planting a garden in my backyard, which I'd always wanted to do but never had the space for. I'm making friends with my neighbors, those who don't report back to my family. I even adopted a cat who is now snoozing in my sunny window. She is also not obligated to share her space with anyone she does not want to. Last weekend, I had a small housewarming celebration with some of my coworkers. We sipped wine and cheese on my lovely small porch, and no one said I needed more room or questioned my life choices. It was simply normal, joyful, serene. I know some people may read this and think I'm callous for cutting off my family, but after 27 years of being treated as a backup plan, an ATM, and a solution to everyone else's issues, I'm finally putting myself first. Recognizing that family is more than simply blood, it's about respect, limits, and mutual support can be the healthiest thing you can do. What about the house that sparked all of this drama? It's become my haven. Every morning I wake up, in my house decorated exactly how I want it. with no one else's expectations to meet but my own. Wow. And I know I made the correct decision. Thank you to everyone on Reddit who has supported me on this journey. Your comments, guidance, and shared experiences helped me keep going when I was doubting myself. To those who shared similar stories, you helped me realize I wasn't alone in demanding fundamental boundaries. And to those who are now suffering with similar familial problems, remain strong. You deserve to live your life on your own terms. Probably won't be updating my tale anymore. Partially because I've cut off all communication with my family, and partly because I'm ready to go on with my life. But I'll still be on Reddit, possibly assisting others who are in similar positions. Thank you all again. Your encouragement meant more than you'll ever realize. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.